Okay, we're going to get started right now. I just want you to quiet down for me and listen. Listen. Quiet. You've got problems coming up. Thank you. I don't want to go there, but I need your attention. Listen, quiet down. Please. Let me out. Look. I don't know how to be anything except real. And I'm going to say something to you, and I want you to listen to me. Listen, guys. Fellas. Thank you. Your kids. And you understand a lot. And in many ways, you understand more than adults do. About a number of things. You're very resourceful. You are understanding and aware of a lot. But as kids, as young people, and this is not your fault. It's science. You often make decisions where you don't think things through very carefully. And sometimes those decisions where you're not thinking carefully, listen to me, because I'm going to get upset if you're not listening. And I'm going to make someone an example if you're not paying attention. Don't make me go there. Sometimes we make these decisions without really thinking carefully. They end tragically. I have only been principal of Westhill for 8 years. And I've been to 3 funerals. Yeah, you got your attention. 3 funerals in 3 years. For students who made bad decisions regarding being in a car. And so every year we have this opportunity to pay a little bit of attention, maybe it resonates with you, so that you make better decisions going forward. And I'd like to recognize and thank all the adults that stand here, our firefighters, I understand we have a surgeon here today, to help you understand that. Thank you. That's good. So, please, I know it's a little chilly out here too. Ridiculous for April, but please pay attention so that you are better informed, and that hopefully you'll make better decisions as you get through the rest of high school and into your young adult life. Who am I giving the microphone to next? Okay, Keven. Big hand for what's your rank? Lieutenant Keven.
Good morning, students. How's everybody doing today? Good, here we go. All right. So today's purpose is to continue the education on distracted driving and driving under the influence. As you guys are well aware of, there's constant loss of life throughout everybody's high school. And as you get older, the numbers only continue. The objective is to get these numbers to the window. Every year there's at least 3 deaths per state, and then there's always one guaranteed during prom season, April to July season typically. So together, Stamford Fire Department, the Not One More campaign, the Stamford Health Trauma Team Response Team, and surgery, we all come together to just try to educate you guys on making smart decisions. The smart decisions, the smart you make them, the longer you live. So start putting down the phone, start thinking through. Yes, it is illegal for all of you guys to drink, right? But we can't control what you do because things still happen. But what we can try to put into your brains is that there's other ways to get in places besides you physically or letting somebody else drive. Uber, Lyft, good old-fashioned mom and dad. They'd rather pick you up at 2 in the morning than being called by someone saying that they have to identify your body. And that's not going to start setting in. Every parent wish that they never have to carry their own child, and it should be a parent's promise. And that's what I stand by when I want to educate you guys of never having to watch your parents, well, unfortunately you won't watch it, but never have your parents bury you, or a friend, a loved one. And that's what I really should say, kids. It's the hardest thing to ever have to do. So when it comes to distracted driving, just put the phones down. Learn from my lesson. I was driving my vehicle and I hit a child on a bike because I was on the phone with my wife. That one hit me hard. I have a piece of the little reflector thing on his bike hanging in my car just to remind me to always pay attention. Always be vigilant to what I'm looking at when I'm driving. So before we start this demonstration, I want to invite Joanne and Kim up for the Not One More campaign. This is what she wants. This is her dream of having no deaths. We don't want any more deaths as for children or anybody. But this is Joanne and Kim. Give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Westhill, for having us. I'm Joanne Kim from Healthcare Heroes Against Impaired Driving. We are a coalition of all Connecticut 7 health systems in Connecticut, which is 14 trauma centers. And throughout the state, we get so many patients coming in from impaired driving collisions. As trauma center, motor vehicle crashes is the second leading cause of death, and impaired driving takes more than 30% of them. So here we are to urge you how important it is to plan your safe ride home after socializing, partying. We understand that we all gather together for fun. So here's the thing. I have three-letter acronym that I made up. I'll try my best to come up with something better than this next year, but this year is three-letter acronym that I want you to remember. SRS. Can you say each letter for me? S for sober driving. Everybody who is driving the car should be sober. Connecticut, we have zero tolerance for underage drivers, which means not a single glass of beer is allowed. BAC level 0.02, that is not a single drink for you. What's the next letter? Thank you. Ride-share services. Download the ride-share app on your phone, Uber, Lyft. It's a single click away. And you will pay maybe 20, 30 bucks. That is the money that could save your life or some other people's. What's the next letter? Thank you. Which is sleepover. Sleepover at the party until you feel sober or you're safe. Crash over at friend's couch, not on the road. So please remember these three letters. That way we can save the roads safe for everyone. Today we have a great trauma team from Stamford Health of years of experience in trauma. The Stamford Health Trauma Team takes care of the patients from your neighborhood. And they're here to share important words with you. Robin, she's the trauma program manager. She has been a trauma nurse for years. Robin.
Hi guys. So my name's Robin. I am the trauma program manager over at Stamford Health. And for those of you who don't know what a trauma program is, we are where you're going to get brought to when you're in the worst of the worst condition. Our goal is to stabilize you, fix you, and try and get you back to health if we can. But sometimes people who are involved in impaired driving, either with alcohol or other substances, we can't fix. You know, everybody likes to talk about what happens and they don't want your parents to be the one that has to go and see your body. But one of the things I want to stress with you is death is probably sometimes the least of the problems. What I want to impact on you is think about what you want to do right now in the next coming weeks or a couple of years. Think about the plans you have for your future. What happens if you actually come in and you end up with a brain injury or a spinal cord injury? All of a sudden you have the mentality of a 5-year-old now. Think about what that would do to the rest of your life. Or all of a sudden you become paralyzed and you can't walk, you can't breathe on your own. What impact would that have? How would you feel about your future? Especially if you're able to still think normally, but you lost all other function. Now you have to learn how to re-walk, how to talk, how to feed yourself, if that's even possible at that point. Our goal is to try and get you to understand that we know things are going to happen over prom, but our goal and over graduation, but what we want you to do is make a smart decision. Nobody says that you have to actually get in a car. Nobody says you actually have to get into a car with somebody else who's been drinking, even if you haven't. All you got to do is make the choice to do the right thing. We're going to offer out a pledge form that you can bring home to your parents later that pledges something between you and your parents that says, under no repercussions, if you call them for a ride, they will come there. No arguments, no yelling. They will be there, and it will be no punitive damages if you do. Always make the right judgment, because that's the biggest thing. And then always remember, if you're the one driving and you happen to get in an accident that kills somebody else in your car, that makes you eligible to end up actually being charged with vehicular homicide for making a bad judgment. Think about what it would be like to spend the next few years in jail. So make some good judgments this year, but enjoy your prom and your graduation. I'm going to introduce you to our trauma medical director and one of our resident surgeons here. This is Dr. Keven Dwyer and Victoria Liang.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm Dr. Keven Dwyer. I've been here at Stamford for 15 years. Before that, 10 years at Fairfax in Northern Virginia. And I went to Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan 3 tours of duty as a combat surgeon. And this is Dr. Victoria Liang. She's one of my chief residents at Stamford, and she's going to do a trauma fellowship next year in California. I've seen a lot, obviously, being in the war 3 times, being in the trauma business for the last 30 years. And there's nothing as sad as someone who is young, who has made a choice, or maybe their friends have made a choice, to either take their life or to be injured where they can't do the really nice things that you guys are able to do now. You know, play sports, dance, just being able to walk down to, you know, Dunkin' Donuts and get a donut that these people can't do. I had a girl who was driving 3 of her girlfriends. This was in Northern Virginia. Mustang, summertime, top was down, speeding, drinking, and basically rolled her car on Route 1. All 3 of her friends were dead. She survived. And she really wasn't that injured. I think that's almost worse than dying, to know that you killed 3 of your friends because of the choices that you made. Nice young girl, growing up, having a good life, and then it all ends. We have just recently patients that drinking and driving. Now they're in a coma, have been in a coma for months. Another young woman who was passenger, her boyfriend was drinking, they were both drinking, and they also turned the car over. This is here in Connecticut. Once the car was on its roof, she couldn't breathe. She couldn't catch her breath, and she couldn't move. She couldn't get any breath at all. Luckily, someone was there to give her mouth to mouth, but unfortunately, she had a high spinal cord injury, and for the rest of her life won't be able to move, won't be able to breathe without assistance. And so, you know, this we can go on with stories and stories, but this is really serious. Think about first not drinking at all, not smoking marijuana, not taking any other drugs, because you're young, and that's, if you get into the habit with any of those stuff, it's going to hurt your life. But I realize that the alcohol is going to be around, and you know, probably want to feel like you need it to have a good time. I'm not sure you do. But definitely think about yourself, your life, your family, how your family would feel. And also think about your friends before you get anywhere near a car. Have an alternate plan on transportation or where to stay. I'm going to turn it over to Victoria, who's a little bit knowledgeable about these things happening in the trauma bay and also in her experience.
Good morning. My name is Victoria Liang. I'm a fifth-year surgical resident at Stamford Hospital. I certainly don't have the wealth of experience that Dr. Dwyer does. I'm a little closer to where you guys are now. And it is different to hear all of these stories about people who have died and have been through horrible things. And it is a very different thing to have to be the one facing it yourself. You guys are in high school. You guys are the healthiest you will ever be in your lives. Prom is coming up. You guys are about to graduate. Everything is great. You don't want to think about your own impending mortality, and there's really no reason to until someone actually dies. Hello? Okay. I know when I was in high school, I didn't really think about the consequences of anything until my senior year when one of my classmates died. And as a surgeon, it is still very difficult to see people coming to those same realizations on the other side of the coin. We're going to show you and tell you all the things that happen to get you out of the car, to get you into the emergency department. But I still think the worst thing is telling someone's family and friends that you've died. If you're dead, you're dead. You don't care about this situation. But think of all the people that you care about in your life, the friends that you go out with, the people that you spend your time with. And think about how it would feel if someone told you that they had passed. Because listening to someone's parents and listening to someone's high school friends find out that their friend had passed at the age of 18 is probably one of the worst things I've ever heard in my entire life. And it was one of the worst conversations I've ever had to have. So we can tell you all the horrible stories. I've certainly, the patient that Dr. Dwyer was talking about, who was paralyzed from the neck down after her boyfriend rolled the car, she's 9 days younger than me. Last year, that 18-year-old whose family and friends I had to tell he had passed, he had a chunk of his skull lodged about 6 centimeters into his brain. We could hear them crying throughout the entire ICU. You guys are young and healthy, and you guys have your whole lives ahead of you, which means that the repercussions of whatever happens to you is also something that you're going to live with for the rest of your life. You guys are all smart kids. You know what to do. Us telling you these things over and over again is just kind of reinforcing what you already know. But just try to think about what you want for yourself, whether that's in the moment or whether that's long term, and how that applies. And think about if your friend is the one driving and they've had a little bit too much to drink, think about how you would feel if you had to be the one coming into the ICU and finding out that they were the ones who died. Anything else? I also have this thing. In addition to all the demonstrations that we have lining up for you, we also have some intoxication goggles for you to try out to mimic the sensory changes you would experience at different levels of intoxication. Again, you guys are able to make your own decisions. Please be smart about how you're doing this. And just so that you can modify your own behavior and learn how to do this in a smart and responsible way. A standard drink is 12 hours of beer, 4 ounces of wine, or 1 ounce shot of 80 proof liquor. For women, it takes 2 drinks to reach an ethanol level of 0.8. For men, it takes 3. Just be smart about what you're doing.
Yeah, but just kind of we'll pass the intoxication goggles now.
All right, everybody. So right now, the intoxication goggles are going to be going around. Give them a try. This is what you're going to see. Levels of being intoxicated. Really perspective of what you think you can see versus what you really are seeing. So we're going to have a couple going around this way and a couple going around the other side. So just look out, take a couple looks, and then pass to the next person.
When you are trying to drive goggles, please keep in mind that this is a vision impairment, okay? When you consume alcohol, there are so many factors that will impair you. The goggles only give you this vision, okay? So when you are really drunk, it's going to be much worse than that.
All right, thank you. It's not very uplifting, right? None of this is very uplifting, but that's the point of it, because if it was, we wouldn't be here. But our objective is to get it down to 0, not one more death, so everybody gets home safe. So we're going to continue. We're going to show you a program that shows you from what we get to an accident all the way down to the surgeons that do the surgeries for life-saving surgery. All right, so right now we're going to have the fire department respond to a car accident that happened because it's prom, you guys are drunk, or weren't paying attention, they crashed into a tree, and this is what we have to do on scene, is to cut the car open, get the person out, and try to get them to the hospital as fast as we can so we can save a life. There we go. me see if I can get it. That's all right. Dashboard will press against the legs. It's a very common impact. So right now, we're moving all the doors. We're moving the columns and the doors on both sides, peeling back the active the fall. Hold on to those, you might snap. Hold on to those. So we're gonna go cutters. Cut right here. Well, death, literally. Another chunk of the post on this side or not? Sure. Oh, you got the cutters over there? Probably cutters we might need to just cut that deep post out and then we'll go and just take a chunk right there. Start the feel around a little bit. Yeah, Alright, so now that the car is all opened up, we're going to take the removal. Ready, waiting. Alright, so obviously there is an amputation. This might be the only thing that your parents have to identify you with. Saying, is this your child's leg? Is this the foot? Does your child have a tattoo on the ankle? Just be conscious of these are the decisions that your parents will have to face of, is that my child's foot? Is the face so badly done that you can't even recognize it yourself? So the message is, just think before you do. If you must drink, don't drive. Let's start with that decision first. Maybe I shouldn't. Do I want to go home? Do I want to see my parents? Do I want to see my loved ones again? Just make a smart decision. If you do like what you saw today, anybody that's interested, there's 5 volunteer fire departments that are in the city of Stamford. They all have representation here. They'll be walking around with applications if interested. But the main point of today is to just encourage you guys to start making smart decisions. I want the number to be 0. I want you guys, when you have units, I want the number to be 0. We don't want to have any more loss of life than we already do. Connecticut is 9% higher than any other state for the loss of life in high school. So I just want to give everybody a round of applause for showing up today. Joanne from Firefighter. Thank you.
Thank you,
Keven.
And most importantly, guys,
Listen,
thank you
because you paid attention.
That's
That's all we ask today. We are going back now to period.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
If
If you are checking out the goggles, please.
If you
If you have the goggles, please make sure you return them. You have a few up here too. So, with that, in as orderly as fashion as possible, let's start moving back to period 2, please, everybody. Thank you. Big round of applause one more time, please. Thank you, everybody. Be safe. If anyone would like to speak to our fire department folks about a career with, I squeaked it.
If anybody would like to speak to our fire department about a career with the fire department, come on down and speak to some of the personnel. Thank you, everybody.